Tuesday. Welcome to Pandemic Shithole. Yeah. Sorry, it's I might have to reschedule streams that follow directly after Liverpool matches. I've just spent the last 2 hours watching Liverpool get absolutely twatted from pillar to post by Real Madrid, who were fair dues, total value for money for their win. Could have been 5, to be honest with you. Liverpool were absolutely atrocious in the first half, especially. I got a lot of love for our manager, but I think he got the call wrong with the midfield. I can see what he tried to do, but our midfield was totally off. Naby Keita shouldn't be on the pitch, and to be honest, he should be sold. His time is done at Liverpool. The other person who shouldn't be on the pitch is Sadio Mane. That guy he's had such a rough run of form, and he is turning petulant, and he is just so off the boil. He needs to be on the bench. And in fact, I would, with him and Bobby Firmino dropped, I'd actually have Liverpool go to maybe a 4-2-3-1, and there are players that you can bring in. I mean, Curtis Jones can play. Obviously, the midfield 2 at the base, I would have Thiago and Fabinho. And then you could have Salah front, Diogo Jota behind them, and some legs Sheridan Shaqiri. So yes, look, we could still go through in the Champions League. We can win 2-0 at Anfield, but given our home form, that's not really a guarantee. But yeah, we need to clean house this summer. We need to have players who can improve the team. People like Jota and Thiago who have come in and are first team players, like first team, not squad, first team. That's what we need to do. And yeah, I think, as I've said this before, I think at least 6 players could probably go this summer, maybe more, to be honest with you. So yes, that's why today I'm having a bit of alcohol. So if you are in the chat room, please say hi. If you aren't in the chat room, why can't you say hi? What's wrong with you? So yes, what am I going to talk about today? Well, I've obviously started with the Liverpool game. Depressing AF. I've had some good news. I saw my cardiologist this morning. Yeah, I saw my cardiologist for my 8-month checkup after the bypass, and he's very happy. So that's good. He doesn't want to see me for another 6 months. Yeah, let's look at this. Sorry, just with Liverpool this season, it's 1 step forward, 6 back. We had such a good result this weekend against Arsenal, played the way we should, and then to change up the midfield. I don't think Gini Wijnaldum should have been on the pitch. I don't think he's been playing his best for the last couple of weeks. His transfer uncertainty, if he's going to Barca or whoever in the summer, is obviously beginning to affect him. I thought James Milner and Thiago and Fabinho were an amazing midfield. So yeah, I am just so irked at that performance. First half was spineless. Nobody took the lead, and Gini Wijnaldum is not a captain material. Sorry, not for Liverpool. So I mean, if he can't sign a new contract, he can fuck off now, as far as I'm concerned. Thank him for all his amazing work, and he's worked so hard and been such a great part of the team. But if he can't commit and isn't giving 100%, he can bugger off. Chat rooms, Ray Pad. Remember at the beginning of the season when you asked if TAA was the best right back in the league? Look, last season he was the best right back in the league. He actually seemed to up his defensive game. I mean, it did help that he had Joe Gomez playing right centre back, who is incredibly fast and could cover TAA going forward. And this was the problem with TAA for England, in that he didn't play in as good a back four for England as he did for Liverpool last season. So, I've said this for years. Trent Alexander-Arnold, for me, is not a right back in the classic sense. I would like to see him right midfield. I would like to see him center right midfield. Have him spraying those passes, Beckham-esque, if you will. And then have somebody like Nico Jones, who is a great little defender, playing at right back. I think TAA should be looking to move into midfield because his defense, he bombs forward. If you don't have Joe Gomez there, you're in trouble. Let me see. Do I think there's a D Night Walker asks if there's a chance for England at the World Cup? Let's get through the Euros. I would say you would need to, for England, you need to see how they go in the Euros. The Poland game was a bit of a rude awakening, I think. England have a good squad. England have a good manager. Once he settles on a formation, I think they'll be there or thereabouts. I think semi-finals, at least. They certainly have the quality with the likes of Harry Kane, with the likes of Mason Mount, with Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho. There's a whole bunch of good England players. I mean, goalkeeper is the problem when you have Tyrannosaurus Rex Pickford, who is a fucking liability in goal. You might have a problem. Anyway, cheers. Yes. So, I think he's better at anyway. Me and Raypad are going to have this discussion back and forth because Raypad obviously supports a team that they can buy anybody they want, and it's a beautiful situation to be in. So I think soccer's done. Soccer's done. Phil Foden, great player. Phil Foden, fantastic player. Absolutely fantastic player. He's brilliant. Him, Grealish, there's a whole bunch of great players. So. Yes, Sundancer's here, and Sundancer wants me to send him to bed. All right, Sundancer, I'll send you to bed. All right, so I'm haircut time. 10 days, or 9 days till I get vaccination number 2, and then I get this fucking main cut. Somebody actually asked me on YouTube, why haven't you got your haircut? Because it's a fucking pandemic. Let's talk about game-related stuff, because obviously I know that's why you're here. Let's talk about E3. The big announcement this morning was that E3 have announced their digital thing. It's going to be a virtual E3 digital, programming all E3 week. Nintendo are on board. Warner Brothers are on board. Koch Media are on board. And more companies are being added. And that's great. It's free. Anybody can access. Anybody can live stream. Or anybody can just join the streams and watch, and that's great. That is absolutely fantastic. Can't go wrong with it. It's the way it should be. To be honest with you, in general, be interesting to see how many other people line up. And it just goes to show that the guy who posted his story last week was full of shit, or his source was full of shit. One of the two. The whole $35, $25 thing. NVIDIA's going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, bunch of horse pucky. So, I think it's great. I mean, I didn't pay attention to the mishmash of digital events last summer because obviously, was busy getting this done and then recovering from it. I mean, I didn't pay attention to anything, to be honest with you. I missed out on so many announcements. I just couldn't be bothered. I was just not, out of it. But this year, it's going to be nice to have. We'll kick off with with Bethesda and Sony and Microsoft and Ubisoft and whoever else is going to do their bits and bobs, and then we get it's going to be like back in the day when I was in PR and I had people like a PR agency making my appointments so that journalists would be scheduled to come in. And I'd look in and go, oh, here's my appointments today. This guy, this person, this woman, blah, 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 this outlet. It's going to be like that, I'm sure, with regards to slots, and people are going to, drop in and out as they want. It's just going to be interesting to see who buys into it. So yeah, I mean, what do you think, Ray? Are you going to be okay with not coming to E3, or are you just going to come to E3 and sit in a outside patio and vape in June? Yeah. E3 Shme3. Talk to me again when it's next year. I mean, I will be here passing comment on the announcements, passing comment on the live streams. I am looking forward to seeing what's what, but it also feels a little bit, I don't know, it feels detached because, again, we're looking at stuff that I don't have access to because of the new consoles and the lack thereof. And it's going to be, I've said this before, it's going to be a while. And yeah, I'm hoping Sony and Microsoft address that. I hope they really have they up their console game, distribution game. And this should be the first E3 where we really get some good meat for PS5 and Xbox 3.65 and a half. I can never remember what the fuck it's called. I'm going senile. I really am. I can't remember. It's Xbox Series X, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, let's see. Chat room. RP Genius talking about E3. E3 only works as a physical event. If it's a digital event, more publishers and dev because the digital events they sell for. You know what? I think to bring it under the E3 banner makes a lot of sense. Yes, people can have their own events. They're just going to have their own events scheduled within E3 week, and it's under the E3 wrapper, and then everybody's happy. So yeah, it is what it is. Mark Simpson says, I'm streaming at the same time as Game Face. Hey, look, I thought Game Face was at 1. I can't, if I moved for everybody, there's no, there's nothing I can do. I'm doing my show 2 days a week. I might even, cut it down to 1 live stream a week and try and focus on doing more pre-edited stuff, because that might make a little bit more sense. But yeah, I cannot, nothing I can do. I didn't know I was streaming the same time as Game Face, but I'm doing the best I can, and it is what it is. I'm going to Pactor's party, whether he has it or not. Once Pactor and I are all inoculated and vaxxed, we'll have an open-air boat ride and have scotch, and I'll live tweet it. Let me see. What else? Slade, you're talking about 6 days in Fallujah. I talked about that several weeks ago, mate. And unless something has happened in the last 48 hours, I kind of went in depth on it because I actually wrote an article about this the first time 6 days in Fallujah came out. I think I talked about it on Night Gamer back in the day. So that's how old that one is. So E3 is old. What did games? Yes. I mean, look, we're going to be in this nebulous situation for the next year. And anybody who says, oh, the pandemic will be over by the summer is smoking the fucking crack, because they have no clue what they're talking about. Because while we have 30 to 40% of the population who cannot or will not get vaccinated and are prepared to go out and cause harm and cause grief to people and will not wear masks and will not social distance. And when, we're already seeing surge 4 in some, in Europe and in some states here. And we do have things like baseball games happening yesterday with no masks and full capacity, 50,000 people. We know shit's going to get bad again. It's going to get bad in the stupid states. Like California, where I live, because they're opening up way too early. We could have been exceptionally safe, and we would have all gotten through this by now. But no. Now, if we are good by Labor Day, September, that'll be a victory. But I still maintain anybody who chooses to refuse the vaccination should not be allowed out of their house, should not be allowed to operate a business, should not get any federal assistance, etc., 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 because they are endangering the lives of people who cannot get it for medical reasons. Because this is going to be around now. So anyway. Let's see. What the hell? Video Game Fury, E3 going digital. There won't be a live show in gaming this year. Game Awards. Nobody is going to fly in for the Game Awards at Christmas and run the risk of getting sick for the holiday season. The Game Awards will be virtual. The Game Awards will be pre-cut, and this is what it is. Again, we are looking next year at the very earliest before we have a level of immunity that we can actually go and have this stuff. And it's going to be severely limited because, we're not even going back into offices this year. People are not going back into offices. So if they're not going to go into offices, they're not going to get on a fucking plane and go to an award show when they can stay home and drink and be with their family. So, TGS. We're talking about TGS. Look, I think Japan's fucking bonkers holding the Olympics this year, but they have to be done. TGS won't happen because, again, massively oversubscribed, because you'll have to limit participation. You'll have to limit the amount of attendees. And if you limit them, people get pissed. So just shut it all down. Do it virtual. Do it online, digital. We've got the infrastructure to do it. And boom, we're good. All right. So coffee. Oh, I've got something in my throat. Sorry about that. Wow, I've got a tickle in my throat. I know it's not the COVID because I've been inoculated. Okay. Hiccups. So yeah, like I said, apologies for the show today. I'm kind of like the Liverpool game put me off. It's been a stressful morning. Like I said, going to the cardiologist, even though I get good news. And then, just a couple of other things just like throwing me today. And it's a quiet games week. There's really fuck all to talk about. So what I am going to talk about is Apple Arcade. Now, if you are a Apple subscriber or an Apple user, and doink, here I am. You will know what Apple Arcade is. They've been pushing it for a while. $5.99, or part of the bigger Apple subscription. The problem is Apple Arcade has been, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of wank. Basically, it's a collection of games that they've pulled, how do I put this? Stuff that is perhaps leans more indie, which is not necessarily bad, but eclectic is probably the word. Yes, eclectic. It's basically like an Apple Music ad in video game form, where it's, all sorts of, oh, isn't that cool? Oh, look, young people. Oh, look, everybody's diverse and everybody's pansexual, and nothing wrong with that. But let's face it, if you're somebody who doesn't really want to go back and play the equivalent of NES games, Apple Arcade's a bit shit and couldn't justify the $5-6 a month. Now that it's rolled into this whole bigger thing that we also pay for because it's got Apple TV in it, and cloud storage and Apple Music and everything just bundled together for about $25 a month, it makes sense. So I started exploring it a little more. And recently, to be honest with you, it's upped its game. It does have more selection. It does have better games. And the one I want to talk about is the Star Trek game. And in fact, so this is the beauty of things like of this right here. I can go, there you go, look at that. Apple Arcade. Oh, hang on. There we go. Where'd it go? Oh, Star Trek Enterprise. It's called Star Trek Legends, and it's basically very much the same as there's a Star Wars and Marvel version of this particular game. I think the Star Wars one is, what's it called? Star Wars Heroes from EA. This is very similar to that. It's got an interesting Star Trek, type of storyline. The Nexus, the Rift that we saw from Star Trek Generations has pulled various Star Trek characters in from all over the timeline. So you've got OG Show, Enterprise, Deep Space Nine, TNG, Discovery, Voyager. They're all in there, and these characters pop up, and you go through missions, you piece your teams together, you level up your teams, you send them off on shuttle missions, and there's regular missions, and you upgrade their phases. And it's, like I said, it's very similar to the Star Wars game, Star Wars Heroes game, and then Marvel Strike Force is the other one, I think, that is very similar. The big difference is that because this game is on Apple Arcade, it's not geared to send you to a store. And it's not geared to make you, your energy's replenished. It has to be replenished and you spend credits. I downloaded it over the weekend and started playing. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. Why isn't my energy run out? And after a few, it took me 2 days before I was like, oh, okay, let's check the store. How much they're going to gouge me for. And there's no microtransactions whatsoever. I was like, what the fuck? It actually stunned me because I like these types of games. I like the ones the Star Wars one. I played it a lot. I played the Marvel one, but it became so much of a daily grind that also wants to raid your piggy bank that it started taking the fun out of it, especially as it was so repetitive. And so I stopped playing them. I mean, I played for probably like 3 or 4 months of every day of these games, checking in, getting the login bonuses and all that. But it began to be such a grind that you'd run out of energy, or it's like, oh, here's the special offer, $9.99 for this, $14.99 for that, $49.99 for this, $100 for this special one-off pack. And I'm like, fuck off. And that's the problem with apps and iPad games in particular, is that Apple refuses to regulate them. And these games, so they are free with microtransactions. They are free with advertising and microtransactions. And it means that there's a lot of crap on the Apple ecosystem, on the App Store. When you look at so many of the games, a lot of them are very simple, cheap to make, and are just riddled with either spyware or ads. I mean, the ads, I don't have a problem with watching an ad for, to increase a timer by 30 minutes and give you a bonus or whatever. But if I'm playing a game that then runs an ad after every friggin' level, that to me is garbage and shouldn't be allowed on the App Store. But of course, Apple, being the scions of shit customer service, happy to steal your data, don't really give a fuck about anything that could actually be decent towards their consumer base. They let this shit go. And now Apple Arcade for $5 a month actually could be something that changes that, because it is curated, and they do need to up their curation game, because at the moment they have the same they have the same wide variety of games as Google Stadia. And if they want to get into the game space, and they're pushing it with Apple TV, and they're pushing it with the iPads, and especially the new generation of iPhones, they've got to up their game curation. They've got to have better stuff in there. It's all well and good having the Sasquatch game that looks good on this TV screen, but having played the Sasquatch game, it's as much fun as having your fucking teeth pulled while somebody gives you a vasectomy with no anesthetic. And of course, I'm still talking about this Star Trek game because it is fun and it does appeal to somebody like me. It's not a total time suck. I can drop in, play, and then fuck off. I would like to see more stuff like this. And with regards to companies that make mobile games, I do understand that you put it out there free to make money on the microtransactions because people don't pay for apps. And I think this is a problem Apple has as well. And as I'm on the demo tip and have been on this demo crusade ever since Outriders came along and brought back happy demo memories, I do think if Apple altered their system to pay, try before you buy. So you pay a game for you can download an app, play it for 30 minutes or for 3 levels or whatever, then like it, pay to unlock. No ads. Microtransactions, no. Downloadable content, yes. Ads, no. And by the way, in case you didn't get that, ads, fucking no. And that would actually get rid of a lot of the crap that we see on the App Store. It would get it would actually do away with their whole ad-based system through Unity ads, because that stuff is garbage and invasive and annoying and totally inappropriate in a lot of spaces. And it would put a lot of app companies out of business, because a lot of these app companies, you see companies release their game, or say, I've got this cool new game coming, and we're going to release it on X date, and about a week beforehand, some knockoff company generally based in China. Some knockoff fucking app company has ripped off the basic game concept based on screenshots, video, whatever, and are shuttling it out there cram full of ads, bugs, and spyware. And Apple doesn't do anything about it, and Apple needs to. Steve Morris, that's what I was talking about. Sneaky Sasquatch. That is the one. That's the one. Looks great on the ads, just a little fucking dull. Okay, so the new Mistwalker games are stranded on Apple Arcade. Well, I'll have to have a look at that. Let me see. DDD. Star Trek's best. Yes, those 99.99 things are just fucking ridiculous. Yeah, so Ray, I mean, that's the point I'm adding. I mean, they've brought on stuff like there's stuff like Solitaire, Sudoku, like classic games like was it Cut the Rope. They've added something. I think there was a Final Fantasy-esque type game there. There's the Star Trek game. Oregon Trail is now on there, which is always fun. But that's what they need. They need, if they want to really push this ecosystem, they have to get a lot better about it. They have to get better in their curation. They actually have to hire people who are not going to sit there and literally, wear their little flat caps, ironically. And this is my Unicorn Jizz locally sourced soy latte. Now tell me, what does this game bring to the gaming experience? What does it bring to society as a whole? Is it made by one-legged unicorns in a mine somewhere in Wakanda? If it is, well, I think we should promote it. No, how about you just put fucking good games up on there? How about you actually widen the remit? Why don't you talk to the game publishers when you talk to EA and a bunch of others and flex some of that money muscle and that marketing muscle and say, let's take some of your games, let's take out the microtransaction stuff. You can still sell your DLC. We're going to put it on arcade. Or if we're going to do it, we're going to, put it out on the App Store, take away your DLC. So you, again, as I've said in the past, you don't get kids running up fucking stupid bills. How about you put a trial version up there and then people pay to unlock? And that's it. And if you don't like that, well, we're going to kick you off our system. We're going to do to you what we did to Epic. And look, sorry for the sniffing. And let's talk about that Epic situation. Epic and Apple, it's like battle of the dickheads. Epic has become this ginormous company based on the success of Fortnite, and they are monetizing it, and good luck to them. And they are a behemoth who pulls in more money than God, and good luck to them. I know a lot of people who work there. They're wiping their asses with $100 bills every day. And then you got Apple, which is another behemoth. And now Epic feel that, if we want to sell things for Fortnite on the iPad, we can do it through our store and cut Apple out. And Apple are like, no, you fucking can't. If you want to sell stuff for an app on here, we're going to take some of our money out. We're going to take our little cut out. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off. And of course, they've been butting heads ever since. And now they kicked Fortnite off, and Epic are going, oh no, now we can't have a game on Apple. And Apple like, fuck off. And at the end of the day, it's corporate willy waving from two dickhead companies. Because let's face it, Fortnite is, and I'm getting fucking salty today. In fact, I have so much salt, you may need to get some water in, because you're gonna get thirsty around here. I don't like Fortnite. I've tried it. I've said this in the past. Oh, more power to people who like, if you like it, you like it, great. But I fucking don't. I've played it. I think it's very limited. I think it's fast food gaming, junk food gaming, if you will. They keep on signing these deals to pull in these new pop culture characters and Wonder Woman, Batman, the Marvel stuff with Thanos, and it's working for them. And I can't quibble with what they're doing, because they're making money and they're doing it. But I can say that the game, to me, is a pile of crap. It's dull, uninteresting, repetitive, and played by, honestly, people who wouldn't know a decent game if it fucked them up the ass. I've told you, salty today or what? And somebody's going to pull a clip of that, and he's probably going to post that on an Epic board somewhere. And then I'm going to get all these people saying, fucking old man who knows nothing about fucking video games, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? I don't really know that much about video games that 4-year-olds actually play anymore. So, and it was like, oh, but I play with my kids. I play video games with my kids, and it's wonderful. It's like, good for you. I don't have kids. So I can judge stuff based on what doesn't appeal to me and what does. Fortnite doesn't appeal to me, and I think it's crap. But I'm not saying it. Everybody has to think it's crap. You may think it's fantastic. Good for you. Go play with the 4-year-olds and come back to me when we're talking about proper games. And that's the thing, I'm fucking sober. I've only had a couple of sips of this, which is a pre-made old-fashioned, by the way, old-fashioned cocktail. I got gifted one by a friend a couple of weeks ago, and it's taken me like 5 servings so far to get halfway through. So yes, this is just a very weak cocktail. So it's not that, it's not the coffee. It may be left over from the Liverpool game. It may be just additional saltiness from just being in a foul mood today. So yeah, that stuff will probably come back and bite me in the ass. But honestly, I'm beginning not to care, because one thing I've learned about this industry is that those people that you feel are your friends are nothing more than acquaintances most of the time anyway. And once you outlive your usefulness to them, they're happy to go, move on to the next thing. So yeah, sharing. I'm it's definitely an insight into my soul today. This is therapy, and you are my unwitting therapist. Some of you paying for the privilege because you supported me on the Patreon. And Eric Kelke is the latest person to support me, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Eric. I've known Eric for a very long time. We used to work together way back when at Vivendi, and he's a top gentleman. Does a lot of stuff for the Take This charity as well. Just a genuinely decent human being, and he's not paying me to say that, so he's actually paying me just to do stuff like this. So yes, thank you to him. Got nothing but love for him. Good man. And a lot of you, good people. Ray, I don't know who's working on Apple Arcade. You may want to text me or DM me that. So anyway, okay, old man yells at camera. Yeah, old man is in a fucking old man mood today. I am so old manning it today. I am 50 years of age. I've got an 8.5-inch scar down my chest. I've had a double bypass. I am obscenely gray. I need to get my hair cut. I am overweight, and I can't lose my the weight that I'm on. As a byproduct of, or a side effect of my surgery, one of my calves is swollen. I have a 17-inch calf on one leg and a 15-inch calf on the other, circumference. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a fucking mood today, and this is what you get. This is the stream of consciousness you get on this stream. So it's comedy. It is. I mean, literally, bring a cloud in here. I'll yell at that too. But at least I'm happy to take the piss out of myself and know that at the end of the day, this is just me being me, and there are a lot of good people out there. So there. Yes. Slade, good question. Evil Genius 2. Yes, I loved Evil Genius 1. I haven't got around to buying EG2 yet. I'll be honest with you. There's, budget's a little tight. So there's, the last game I bought was Outriders. The next one, and then before that, I bought Valheim, which is a total waste of fucking money, by the way. Last time I take recommendations from you people, tell me to go buy Valheim. I'll buy it at some point. Yeah, I mean, I do want to give it a play. It's gonna be a while though. Let's see. Let's go back to the chat room. Bonus episode of Mythic Quest. Now, Ray. Let's talk about this Mythic Quest show, because I started watching Mythic Quest, and that's the one that's based in a video game company. Am I correct? I watched the first episode and I wanted to kill everybody who were fucking on my screen. So fucking annoying. And that's the thing. It's a sitcom. It's a sitcom about a fake video game environment. And it's total bullshit. It's basically as accurate a depiction of video game companies as The Big Bang Theory is of MIT and Caltech. Now, everybody likes to rag on The Big Bang Theory. I like that show. It was harmless. It was inoffensive to somebody like me because I can take the piss out of myself. I watched Mythic Quest, and it was just full of tropes and dumbasses and not funny at all. So I don't care if there's a bonus episode. Show's a pile of shit. Told you, cranky. So how was it to work in the games industry? It was. I'll come back to that comment. How was it to work in the games industry? It had its ups and downs, and I have had the distinct pleasure of working in two separate markets, in the US market and the UK market, UK and Europe. Now, the UK and Europe markets were incredibly different to the US ones. Obviously, it was also a time, in the 90s, before we'd had the huge current gens. We were all on Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. We had and Super Nintendo. They were the big two. 3DS and PlayStation were on the 3DO and PlayStation were on the way, and so it was. We were niche. We were basically a very, very niche part of the entertainment sector. We weren't making, it wasn't a huge amount of money in it. PC was still a huge physical market. Online wasn't a thing, and in Britain in particular, the publishers were grouped around London, and then the magazines, because obviously pre-internet, they were in London, Bath, Bournemouth, and Macclesfield. Those are the four hubs, with London and Bath being the two biggest, with Ziff Davis, Dennis Publishing in London, and Bath having Future Publishing. So between all those, it was, everybody knew everybody. You're always a couple of hours away from somebody. If you go down to Bath, you'd stay over, take people out, have drinks or dinner. You're in London, you go and meet up with people. So it was a lot more sociable. It was a lot more wild. It was inappropriate in so many ways, because it was, it's funny. It wasn't a boys' club, because there were a lot of boys, women, men, a lot of women working in the games industry, especially in the UK, more so than I think in the US at the time. And so, it wasn't that inappropriate with regards to things that went on, but there was lots of partying and people doing naughty things to each other consensually. But it was fun. It was fun. So part of my 20s in particular that I will not ever. PC Zone was Dennis, Steve. PC Gamer was Future. It's a part of my life that I would not trade for anything. I learned a lot. I went from being somebody who worked in retail to writing a newspaper column to doing a guest, reviews in Welsh on the local news channel, to getting a job on Games World on Sky One as a researcher, to becoming the lead reviewer there. And then from there, I went into PR, and I worked for a couple of different companies. And I met a lot of amazing people. I worked for smaller companies, and I made my first trips to America. I went to North Carolina when I was at Interactive Magic. I went to Atlanta for E3, Schaumburg, Illinois when I was at Blue Byte, LA for E3. I had an amazing time. My 20s were absolutely fantastic. And then in my 30s were marked by moving to the US. And, I got lucky. I moved to North Carolina, and I got a job at Redstone, which is a great company. They got acquired by Ubisoft, so I ended up going to San Francisco. And that was not a happy period for me. Wasn't very happy at Ubisoft. I think I didn't gel well with their corporate culture. It was a little too stuck in its way, and at the time, if you weren't French, you weren't going to get a promotion to middle management, which meant middle management was staffed with a bunch of people who were way out of their fucking depth and didn't know games to save their lives. They seem to have changed that. They obviously they're doing very well, and more power to them. But the thing I noticed is that being in San Francisco, again, very similar to being in London, a lot of journalists based up there. So, that was my life, going out, drinking, hanging out with those guys and girls, socially as well. So it was fun. And then coming down to LA, that's where things started to change again, because, new set of people in LA, but it's more fractured. It's more all over the place here in the US, with publishers and developers all over the place. And then magazines and sites were all over the place, like Minneapolis for Game Informer, which meant a lot more traveling, which again was in my 30s. Totally fun, totally, great. I got to work with some amazing people, some relationships that have lasted me way longer than I ever thought they would. So look, the games industry has had its ups and downs. I've been frustrated. The times I've been frustrated is when we went through this fad as an industry where we're trying to figure out who we were. And instead of saying we make fucking games that are fucking cool and people play them and enjoy them, we had to go and get validation from people outside the industry and brought in people, and I've said this before, who were for Pepsi or for fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken or for Mountain Dew or whatever. And it led to a sticky period. People who didn't understand what the games were about, didn't have a fucking clue, and tried to do things that didn't work and were absolutely embarrassing failures. And, we had the same problem with game trailers. Like I said, Viacom had no fucking idea what to do with game trailers. And they never got the ads in that they were supposed to. They didn't know how to sell it. Game trailers was pulling in traffic to make it a very attractive ad proposition. The shows could have been sponsored, higher production values, more staff. People could have been paid more. And Viacom didn't have a fucking clue. So yes, it's been interesting. Every decade of working in the games industry has been really different for me. And now, obviously, this last decade for me, my 40s, when I turned 40, I went, I'd gone back into PR for a short time with a company that was an absolute nightmare for a year. And again, people who had no business being in video games, running video game companies, because they were nothing but wheeler dealer spivs. Fucking hated the people around that company. And then, this is me since. I've been lucky enough to work as a consultant, which is the most fun I have. I mean, I love talking to you folks and passing comment on stuff. For the consultancy stuff is far and away the best stuff I do. I think I contribute to making games better. I bring that experience, and COVID has really put a crimp on that, amongst other things. I've learned everything from, I've learned new stuff every decade. This will probably be my last decade in games. If I make it to 60, I'll be fucking surprised. Cheers. So, yeah. Sorry. Let me see. So let's go back to that question about that Mythic Quest TV show. So, Raypad says some of the archetypes accurately represent people we've met in gaming. Yeah, but you don't get them all in one fucking environment. You don't get them all together. And I understand that's more for the comedy. And those people have been, drummed out. Well, the ones who have been drummed out should have been, and the ones who haven't been drummed out should also be. Yeah. So yes, some of the PC Zone covers will never be allowed today. I mean, you go back and if you look at the Battlecruiser 3000 AD ad from the UK with Joe Guest, the famous glamour model from the 90s, that would never be allowed today, and understandably. I mean, you go back before that, we're talking about inappropriate ads now and again. Me tangent back and forth. Keep up in the chat room. There was a game on the Spectrum called Barbarian. Look that one up. That was people were clutching their pearls for that. It's like, oh no, we cannot see cleavage. We cannot see attractive woman. We cannot. Oh, it's a man in leather with big boobs. Let's see him. And look, products of an era. The 90s in particular, in the UK, we had Ladmouth, we had Loaded, FHM, and a bunch of other ones that were basically never be really allowed today, because again they encouraged a culture of what we call laddishness, but was also it was sexist, it was derogatory, and people took it way too seriously. Some people took it way too seriously. If you took it as a bit of a laugh that wasn't to be taken seriously and not executed in real life, I think you were fine. But if you had the IQ of a toilet seat, then you would think, oh, I read this thing and loaded on how to pick up birds, so I'm going to go try it, and boom, I'm just punched in the head by a woman or for being inappropriate, and that's totally acceptable for those people to get punched. And that's the problem. We can't have nice things because of morons. We can't have nice things because of morons. And the people who are generally the morons are the ones who say stupid things and then act out on them. People like Matt Gaetz out of Florida, the congressman who has had a sexual relationship apparently with a 17-year-old, trafficked her by paying for her to leave the state, and is being defended by Republicans. These same Republicans who defended Donald Trump. And these same Republicans who this week went, oh, Jill Biden, the first lady, is wearing booties and fishnets. I mean, talk about fucking hypocrites. It's okay for these guys so that people men can sexually assault women, but women cannot, obviously make a choice for their own bodies or dress themselves. Apparently, even though the previous president's wife was a porn model and basically a mail order bride who came here to have an anchor baby, and she succeeded. So basically, she's everything the Republicans should be against, but because she was married to a Republican president, it's all okay. So there you go. Fucking hypocrites, all of them. I hope they all get fucking ass cancer on their birthday. Okay. Grayson 3, the Games World TV show. Nostalgia just hit me. Yes. Games World. And if you're a fan of Games Master, follow Dominic Diamond on Twitter because he is working on a Games Master book that's basically full of anecdotes from the show. It's on Kickstarter right now. I backed it. I recommend you do too. It's going to be a great Christmas present for anybody in your life who watched Games Master growing up or who, like me, worked on it for half a season. Remember the Sega 16-bit with an adapter for the 8-bit games? I remember the Dreamcast console with a memory card that was a Tamagotchi type thing. I remember that. It was expensive as fuck. Let's see. Hello, Jacob Catman69. The Games Master magazine. I think that was done out of Future. Yeah. No, games in Bad Influence. That was one with Violet Berlin, wasn't it? Violet was a sweet person, by the way. I met her a few times. She was such a lovely person. After Graphics, have you thought of collaborating with Easy Allies? I'm not sure how your relationship with those guys over there now. Look, I got nothing but love for those guys. I haven't spoken to them in a long time. They're doing their thing. They don't need me junking up their system. And I've been asked this before. Same reason I'm not on Sifted. Those guys are all doing absolutely fine by themselves, and I'm over here doing my own little thing and bobbling along. I'm just happy being what I doing this. Sorry. Okay. Basically, look, if you have something you want to ask me with regards to you need to message me through YouTube, message me through Twitter, or message me through Twitch. Now's not really the time to ask about stuff. I appreciate it. Let's go back. Why can't I answer you? What? Hang on. All right, Dave the Ledge 69, behave. All right, don't be a twat. Don't know you. Don't spam up the feed. Okay, Games Master magazine. Yes, Games Master was fun. Anyway, all right. Well, look. Yeah. Cheers. Today's show is an absolute extravaganza and what perfect example of what happens when one rambles. It's all fucking rambling. This is what happens when I don't really have that much to chat about. I don't think there's much pop culture stuff. I mean, the Loki trailer dropped. Yeah, so that's coming after Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I recommend watching that and getting ready for Loki. I like the way they're going with, they had WandaVision, Falcon, and Winter Soldier, and then Loki, and that we've got supernatural, sort of like mystical, bigger universe, more spy actiony, almost like the A-Team, if you will, with Falcon, and then Loki is just going to look absolutely bananas. Looks like almost like Doctor Who, as a friend of mine pointed out to me yesterday in Twitter. Sundancer, are you looking forward to the new Star Wars animated series Bad Batch? It's interesting. The Star Wars animated stuff, Clone Wars and Rebels, I never really watched, could never really get into it. And I don't know whether that's a sign of just being old. Because I do like my animated stuff. I mean, like I said, we've discussed the DC, some of the DC stuff in particular. But yeah, I think it's that style of animation as well. So like the computery generated one just doesn't really float my boat. So I'm gonna have to say no. It's not really. I mean, maybe I'll just check it out. But I never watched, Rebels or Clone Wars. I tried to, and I don't know. Star Wars is just, for me, it blows hot or cold. I mean, I used to be such a huge fan of all things Star Wars. And I think the last trilogy damaged that. Mandalorian brought it back and I'm more into Mando. And but the beauty of the Star Wars universe is it can be all things to all people. You can have things like Clone Wars and Rebels that have introduced a new batch of fans to the universe who didn't have to watch The Force Awakens or The Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones or The Rise of Skywalker. They're getting their own Star Wars experience on the small screen. But people of my age, we got it on the big screen with the original trilogy. And that's why I like things like The Mandalorian. I like Rogue One because they feel more in that vein. So yeah, it's perfectly fine, I think, for me not to be interested in it. I think it's perfectly fine for a lot of people to be interested in it because it gives them Star Wars the way they can enjoy it, and that's a good thing. RP Genius, have I discussed MLB The Show, a Sony game launching on Game Pass? No, I haven't. That's because baseball is without a doubt the most boring sport on the planet, and I am talking as somebody who comes from a country where they play fucking cricket. I have had the misfortune of going to several baseball games. Thankfully, I have never paid for a baseball game. I've been to see the Giants play when in San Francisco when I was at Ubisoft. I have been to see the Dodgers play twice. Thankfully, both times corporate boxes, didn't have to pay. Corporate boxes is the absolute way to go, by the way. Sushi, hot dogs, booze, get a cab home or an Uber home. The only way to watch baseball, to be honest with you. And look, I'm being sarcastic. A lot of people love baseball. More power to you. I'm going to have to do some more digging because Sony, I don't know what's up with Sony right now. Microsoft seem to be making all the plays, and this is perhaps a topic for Friday. What's happening with Sony? They had the absolute must-have console of the last generation, and they had the huge lead. And it was PlayStation 5 over Xbox as the must-have new console. And look, I'm not talking, I'm not bringing Nintendo into this equation because they didn't have a new console last year, and they're off on their own playing field. I mean, they exist outside of the games industry, much like Fortnite exists out of the games industry. You've got these bubbles, and then you've got this other bubble, and they kind of, it's like the Venn diagrams where things cross over, and they're the outliers because they are basically impervious to criticism and impervious to disaster, no matter what they do. But Sony and Microsoft, obviously, they are more on the core. You throw a PC in there too. But it seems to me, and this, this MLB thing, the MLB thing followed on from Microsoft acquiring Bethesda and doing the deal with EA to bring the EA Play games into Games Pass. Microsoft are making some very, very, very smart moves, and perhaps this is the conversation for Friday. I'm gonna sort of like cogitate, ruminate, and think some more on this, and I'm gonna give you guys some homework over the next couple of days on the Twitter. Send me your thoughts, give me examples, tell me what you think, and I'm gonna sort of like put together my own thing. And what is up with Sony? Why do they do this? I mean, PS1 and PS2 nuked all before them. PS3 was a statement of hubris that the industry wasn't ready for, and they suffered, and the PS3 only came good at the end. And the PS4, strong from the get-go. There was more of a humbleness to Sony, like we've learned our lessons. We've changed the architecture. We're not going to go super schmancy, fancy 36 different unprogrammable cells. And now the PS5 is, we've got, we're number one again. And Microsoft have just been plodding along. And it's like, you know what? We got this. We got this system that's going to basically, it's on PC and it's on console, and it's called Xbox. And we've got the Games Pass that people have signed up for, and we've got over 100 games on PC, and we've got X amount on console, and we've just bought Bethesda, and we've done this and this and this, and we've got MLB The Show. So baseball fans will come, and we had Outriders day one, and what has Sony got? Yeah. So, yeah, let me know on Twitter. Post a comment on the Twitch. Or if you're watching on the YouTubes, post a comment there. I'll go back to the chat room. But, yeah, it is really interesting. So, yeah, let's have a think about that. Let's have a group discussion. Let's come on Friday. Come loaded for a conversation, and that can be our big thing, and we can get together. Okay, that's the show for this week. Like I said, it's been a little bit of a slow week, but you've obviously given me a great thing to talk about on Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a Patreon subscriber, as always, thank you. You should have the link to the Discord server. So if you tootle on over there right now, I will set up the voice server and we will get chatting. If you haven't managed to support me on Patreon and you feel you could, there is the link, patreon.com/IamBeer. There are 4 tiers. Tier 1 is $3 a month, and that gets you into the Discord. And we got a cool little bunch of folks in there already who, we like to have a chat. We have a live show directly after this one. No holds barred topics. I mean, we go off games. We talk about anything and everything, and it's fun. $3 a month gets you that. $6 a month gets you 2 additional live streams a month, plus the Discord access. The next tier gets you a mug, and we have one subscriber, and he knows who he is, and he's an absolute fucking rock star because he wants his mug, and I've got to order the proof of concept on that to make sure that they are good quality. And then the top tier is just crazy, silly money for a bunch of merchandise that nobody's touched that one. The other thing about the mug level is that you will get a Zoom conversation where we get to just sit and shoot the shit for 45 minutes to an hour. Just the two of us. Clothes on. So if you could, that would be great. If you could toss $3 my way, that would be fantastic. I prefer that, as I've said before, to the Twitch subscription because there's more money going my way on this one. So thank you so much for joining. Sorry, it's been a bit of a rambly mess today. Old man shouting. Old man disappointed that his team played like a bunch of gash today. But at least we have the home leg at Anfield. Oh shit. Yeah, we're going out of the European Cup, aren't we? We're going to be in the fucking Europa League next season. We're going to be Manchester United. That's what we are. Oh, that's just horrible. It's bad enough we're going to finish below them in the league. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm going to move over to the Patreon. Send me your thoughts, send me your questions on the Twitter or in the various comments sections. Be safe. I'll see you good people in 3 days. Have a good one. Bye.